Fucking weird noises.
Are we ready?
Actually, I've had an unreasonable amount of sodas today. I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Untap.
Welcome back to MTGYou, the Magic the Gathering podcast for you. I'm James.
Let the bodies hit the soft foam mattress. I'm Blades. Believe in the one who believes in you, bro. I'm Rich.
I will not buy this record. It is scratch. I am orangutan. I'm Damon.
It's Thursday, the 18th of September, 2014. We're coming to you live from Studio U. Thanks for joining us. This is episode 42.
52 or 51.
This is episode
51.
51.
Upkeep.
I love editing.
Sorry. Well, I talked over your editing. Do you need to say it again one more time?
No, I have it because I have all of them split.
Oh, right.
split
We
apart.
have the splitters.
Yeah.
Because you can't talk about Area 51.
I even put in here episode 52, and then I said 42, and then I said 52, and then.
Are you dyslexic?
What's the joke that about the dyslexic atheist?
Really? Both of you can drop the D word, and now
No,
I can't even get it in.
No, get it dyslexic, like dyslexic, but you're saying it wrong.
I think people usually say lisdexic.
Dyslexic atheist who didn't know if there really was a dog.
I like that one very much. It's right up my alley.
All right. Anyway, we're in our. This is the upkeep, and this is where we talk about news instead of just making really bad jokes that have been way overused. So let's go to the news, guys. What's happening?
Pre-release weekend this next weekend.
Pre-release hype.
Hi, woo!
Yeah, so this is gonna be a thing apparently. I'm super excited about it. All on the Jeskai bandwagon.
Nice. I will be rocking some Teamer because the rug is the best rug.
He's gonna go play with the bears.
Heck
There's
yeah,
so many bears. And they're
The
not actually
bears.
bears.
A
size.
bear. There was a bear, all big and brown and covered with hair.
And now he's half a bear.
We gotta
Strapped
edit
over many
Damon
shoulders.
this entire podcast.
Sorry, man.
All you're gonna hear is hype, and then like blank. Hype. I'm going Team Abzan.
Absent.
Naturally.
And
Just
I should
sad.
pick
It's so
something.
junk, man.
I should pick something that you guys haven't, but I'm also teamer.
Yeah. I
I was
figured maybe for a
Mardu.
Mardu guy, but I could
Well,
see the Teamer.
What color was Mardu?
They're the black, white, red, the ultra
They're the
aggressive,
aggro.
goblin centric kind of.
I could totally go Mardu.
They
but I took
worship the power of the speed of the
but,
dragon.
But I took the, and I probably should go that, but I took the test and it said I'm teamer.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I mean,
so I have to do it at what it says.
He's being a,
everyone knows that Facebook tests are totally scientific.
so you're being like a lemur. And just,
I'm a lemur.
like-
I'm
Or
a
is that a lemming? That
lemming.
just
I am-
follows.
Yep, that's
blindly
me,
to
Mr.
water.
Lemming,
No, I'm just kidding.
falling off a cliff.
Punshire.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway,
But-
what else is happening? So we have pre-release, which is going to be awesome. Although my Saturday's all taken up, so I got to figure out if I'm just going to go late midnight maybe.
Do midnight release. We also had Community Cup last.
What happened with
weekend.
that? I didn't have much time to watch it.
That
but
was actually a whole lot of fun. I was keeping up with it for the first few little bit through Twitter. From what I understand, like round 1, we just got stomped. Like we were down like 3-8 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then on, like the community team just refused to dropped a match. I believe that Paul Cheon, Tom Ross, and Mr. Scotty Mack, like all of them continued to just X3 the whole entire event, which actually like helped put us up in good standings, I believe.
So they ended up just winning all the way. The community wins
we
again.
rocked it.
That is actually really good news. I mean, we've only had that one year that we've lost, and we still hold the Community Cup.
I think it was the first year that we
'cause-
lost too.
No, we won this year.
Was it? No, the first
Oh.
year.
Yeah,
that
the
we-
first year.
the
you
first
had the
year.
Community Cup.
So it's actually 2 years. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because there was the year that John
Laux
Laux
and
played,
then,
and he was-
Conley Woods as well. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Woods.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We're not going to let you live it down.
Right.
So, anything else in the news?
Yeah, I mean, just honestly, overall, it just seemed like a really, really cool tournament where they played some vintage Masters booster draft. Iron Root Chef sounded really cool.
Oh yeah.
Where they gave each team like several cards, and they would have to include some of these like spicy ingredients into their deck, and then they played matches with these decks. But on top of that, at the end, they were judged based on like how flavorful and cool their deck was. So they could like 0-3 the round, but then get like 70 like crazy points for just flavor alone.
Who judged that?
They had 3 different judges from Wizards of the Coast, I believe. So I mean, I guess that's potentially biased,
They-
right?
they-
Wizards and the community, I
They
believe.
sit around the table going, no, just like they do on Iron Chef.
Right, yeah,
So
yeah.
cheesy like that.
They actually upped it one extra level this year, from what I understand. Like one of the flavors of one of the decks is your deck cannot contain 30 or it can't contain 60 more words in the
yeah,
titles
that was
of the cards.
What was it? Editor. Isn't that the name of the?
Yeah, I think so.
That was in the 4th round though. They had
That was
they had a draft.
the
and they
crazy
had-
draft.
Oh,
wacky
where they,
draft.
yeah.
And they had like
Yeah.
specialized, like you have to pick the most like least threatening cards. You had to pick like Nyx Fleece Ram over like Alice Norn or something.
Right.
Or like the most threatening looking cards, or the highest CMC, lowest
lowest
CMC,
CMC, yeah,
highest rare, lowest rare.
Always pick the Bears.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I think it's
Yeah,
probably
There's
on
some editor
YouTube.
stuff.
It's definitely
Yeah.
worth some
The other thing that
rewatch.
was super cool is they did an 8 booster sealed, and they let the community vote on all 8 boosters that they got to open up, and so they can have some crazy
It
bombs.
was like kind of like chaos drafting. It was pretty interesting
Yeah.
to see.
And then, of course, the big super cool surprise was they gave everybody clan packs for the pre-release, and they actually got to play
Oh, yeah, they did.
a round of pre-release. One of the things that was really heartening to hear was listening to Scotty Mac talk about afterwards that he got like up to like 7 pieces or seven different pieces of fixing in his 6 booster pool.
Lots of fixing.
And so, I mean, we have the round of 10 lands that are all commons. We have the uncommon land cycle. We have the rare fetch land cycle. We have the sort of clue stones, or the, what are they called? Like flag poles.
Banners.
The
Banners.
flag poles. We got the flag poles.
Sacrifice yourself 1 flag pole and draw yourself a card. Anyway, so just it sounds like the set is really well fitted for 3 colors, and
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. So
it was interesting to see how many players' mistakes were made just because it was Moto, though. It kind of made me not want to play Moto. Just saying.
in the end, misclicks can happen, I guess.
That is. I just want to get used to playing it, but I've noticed though because it's really apparent when you're playing Moto. You're like, you click, how do you take it back?
Right? Yeah. You
But
know.
on in real life, it's kind of like, oh,
Oh, geez, I didn't say I had first strike. That's
I tapped this land,
ridiculous.
limit this land.
exactly.
I haven't declared my spell yet. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just so cut and dried on Moto that there's absolutely no gray area.
Yeah, it definitely makes you very familiar with the rules, but can make you a little bit bad at remembering certain triggers and stuff like that.
So there's pros and cons to
Yep.
it. All right. Anything else, guys?
I don't think so. It's like more time than we wanted.
We also had the ban list change for
for
EDH.
Oh,
EDH,
yeah.
yes.
Oh,
Basically, what they did is they unbanned Kokusho as an EDH general. Now you can play him as a commander. And basically, any other legendary creature that was banned as a commander is now just flat outright banned in EDH. By
So
this
they've sort of
standpoint.
pulled
So-
that together.
So the idea was that they kind of realized it was kind of confusing to have like you can have Raphaelos in your deck, but you can't have him as your commander. And so like let's just completely make him just banned altogether. Which I mean that kind of sucks because Raphaelos was really cool, but I mean they're just trying to streamline
simplify
it
it
for newer players coming in the
so
environment.
that
and
there isn't ambiguity.
ambiguity.
On the emphasis.
Yes.
The
on the syllable. Yeah.
syllable. Yeah.
But yeah, they it's like I know like Braids is banned, Raphaelos is banned.
They were the
There's a few others
Yeah.
I can't recall.
Just
right
in
now.
time for new commander decks
Emrakul
coming out
still
soon.
banned.
yeah.
Yep.
The next a couple of months.
they-
They're not before Christmas though, are they?
They're in November, I think.
Oh, just
Yeah.
in time for Christmas.
Just
Right.
in time for Christmas. This actually came out like fairly soon. You would expect this to come out like next week or something. So it's a little bit premature for it to come out, but that's still fine. I mean,
Yeah.
Commander's using its own thing anyway, so
Anything else?
I don't think
it.
so.
Shall we move along?
Draw step.
So in our draw step this week, we don't have a click you or cards to draw because our entire show,
One big draw step.
one big draw step. We're going to draw 68 cards
We're gonna
today.
draw our deck.
Yep. We're
With
gonna,
my sweet 4-card combo.
we're gonna deck it. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty awesome. Can we do that next week?
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
All right.
We'll get it put together.
So bad.
So good.
So with that in mind, let's just move right along to,
Main phase.
and in our main phase, just a couple words of clarification before we actually start going into the cards. By way of introduction, Damon, you're talking about
All the flavor or some cards. The last set was a top-down flavorful design. So sometimes I'll also just be talking about card design elements as well, but really just sort of appreciating the cards for what they are.
right, and Blades, you're talking about
Judge rulings or frequently asked questions that might come up
just
about the
basically
cards.
how the card works,
Yeah.
more or less. Yeah.
What
Right.
to do, how to do it.
And I'm going to try to explain, like, I guess, whether or not it may see competitive play, and then kind of like what decks are probably going to look in as playing it,
Yeah.
and
More-
if it has any like modern legacy applications.
More of a
basically.
spike look
Spike feel,
on
yeah.
it. Yes.
And also, honestly, Rich, I feel like another strength that you have is like a card that seems like not playable. He
You
always
might
seems
see
to know
a
like
corner
a
case
way. Yeah,
where
like
it- where it
okay,
might
so
work.
if you had to play this card in standard deck, like you'd probably support it with some of this
Yeah.
other stuff. So I always like that element
Yeah.
as well.
And I'm talking finance. I'm basically going to be talking about how much the card started at, how much it is currently, if it may see some standard play. And by the way, a lot of them are bulk rare, so I will not hear any comments from the peanut gallery just because I call something bulk rare. You
Right.
understand?
Sometimes it just is what it is. It's like with writing. Sometimes you just said, Bob said, blah, blah, blah. And you can
Right.
just say Bob said as many times as you want.
Exactly.
Sometimes it
so
just happens.
there's a lot of cards that are that way, and there's some that are more interesting. And so, in the interest of time, we're going to try to keep each card down to maybe a minute, hopefully, because
60 to 90 seconds. Because
there's 68
68
cards here, and so that's we want to keep this moving.
So the idea is it's high energy. Man, we're going to bring all rares, mythic rares, coming at you faster than you guys can handle. I'm excited.
That is correct.
Should have had more caffeine.
I agree, sir.
I brought the energy for all four of us.
Yes, you did. Okay, so
Energy hype.
Energy hype.
to begin with, are we ready?
I'm ready to go,
On
baby.
your mark. No, just kidding. Here we go. I just want to see how long you can hold your breath.
End hostilities. Cost 3 colorless and 2 white for a rare sorcery. Ability text: destroy all creatures and all permanents attached to creatures.
Looks to be the work of a wandering warrior, one of the Jeskai ways, or paths that they can take, who take short-term contracts to protect villages and settlements. Ooh.
So here it destroys all creatures and all permanents attached to creatures. This includes enchantments. It includes equipment. It also includes the bestow creatures onto your creatures so that they don't just fall off and become a creature after everything dies. Also, protection does not save you from destroy effects.
So this will probably be our new Wrath effect. In our current standard, it's 5 mana. They came out and said there wasn't going to be any 4 mana Wraths this standard season. Now let's see if they'll actually hold to that. This is probably going to be definitely the card that they're going to be using. And like he just said, definitely blows up all the things. But I can see this definitely being played in like an Abzan control list, or like an Esper. This gives room to Esper even, or like a Jeskai, which, as Damon just said, that's kind of where this flavor comes from. And it's also pretty good in EDH too. So,
And just so you know, a lot of this is the other thing I didn't mention at the top. Primarily, the way I look at pricing is I first look at to see where it started on Star City Games. That's kind of a baseline for a lot of people, what people look at, and so that's what I use. I'm not supporting them. I'm not saying you should go buy from them, but that's really they set a lot of
people
price.
trade from that level.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I also look at other prices too. So a lot of what I'm quoting is Star City game prices, and just keep in mind that things sort of generally are kind of go around them. They'll either be the same, or a lot of people will be a little bit lower, but it's a baseline.
and it's hard to tell without until these cards actually see play in a Grand Prix,
Yeah.
right? So.
Yeah. So planar cleansing, it's planar cleansing with one less mana requirement. This is looking to be a staple in standard. Started at $4, and it's currently going for about $3. Let's see.
Herald of Anafenza. Costs 1 white for a 1/2 rare creature, human soldier. Ability text, Outlast. 2 colorless and 1 white. Whenever you activate Herald of Anafenza's Outlast ability, put a 1/1 white warrior creature token onto the battlefield.
So Herald of Anafenza is super cool because he's literally calling out to guys, and warriors are coming and gathering around him as you're using his Outlast ability. Super flavorful, super Jeskai. Super Abzan. I really like it.
So pretty straightforward. You get a counter and you make a guy, but just remember that it's sorcery speed, and things like Quicken will not change this away from sorcery speed. It's always going to be sorcery speed.
So this is going to be great in any token deck. I mean, it's a 1-drop that continually produces tokens while also making itself bigger. With the Abzan theme, there's a lot of cards that deal with, giving bonuses to having more +1/+1 counters or taking away +1/+1 counters to do things. And as a 1-drop, this guy's just kind of house for that, on top of also, making a team. So any,
Army in a
token
box?
deck, for sure. Yeah, this is probably going to see play.
Yeah. This is a cool design, but the Outlast cost puts it out of range for serious standard play, I think. Starting at $2 on Star City Games, it's now selling for $1.
High Sentinels of Arashin. Costs 3 colorless and 1 white for a 3/4 rare creature, bird soldier. Ability text, Flying. High Sentinels of Arashin get +1/+1 for each other creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Pay 3 and a white, put a 1/1 counter on target creature.
Aven warriors and scouts are an important part of the Abzan clan's strategy and dynamic. This bird actually gets stronger when he's around strong allies, and he has the ability to buff them with +1/+1 counters. It's like he wants to be around a thing, and he can make the thing happen.
Yep. So note how +1/+1 is different from +1/+1 counters. He does not get the counters unless you target himself with his own ability, which he can do along with others.
And also, he only counts each creature, not each +1/+1 counter on the different creatures. So if you have 5 +1/+1 counters on one guy and that's it, he only gets +1/+1, not +5/+5.
Yep.
With the LS mechanic, this guy gets pretty freaking big. And with the effect of also putting +1/+1 counters on a team, it seems like it's really good if you kind of want to just either, kind of like Build-A-Bear, just build up one guy really big or whatever with your excess mana. So seems like it could be pretty good. Flying, I doubt I'll see any competitive play, though.
It started at 50 cents on Star City Games, which is, you guessed it, bulk rare. That's the definition of a bulk rare on their site. This might be a budget all-star. I think that this one could actually see some budget deck.
Restoration Angel stats,
Limited
man.
bomb.
Especially when teamed up with
Absolutely.
Phalanx Leader. So,
Yeah, put him +1/+1 on your entire team.
yeah.
Seems good.
Master of Pearls. Cost 1 colorless and 1 white for a 2/2 rare creature, human monk. Ability text, Morph. 3 colorless and 2 white. When Master of Pearls is turned face up, creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn.
Super Jeskai flavor. The School of Pearls. This is a martial arts tradition whose adherents are called Pearl Fighters. During battle, Pearl Fighters conjure and manipulate thousands of pearls. Pearl Fighters can use these pearls both offensively and defensively. They can send thousands through the air like a wave or ensnare their enemy in a great cloud.
So great way to overrun. Note about Morph real quick, though. When the game is over or when your morphed creature dies or gets bounced back to your hand, make sure to reveal your morphed creature just to signify to your opponent that it actually has the morph ability. Otherwise, if you shuffle it back into your deck or something without revealing that information,
Kind of cheaty face.
it's extremely cheaty face, and you can and more than likely will receive game losses for it.
That's something I didn't think about. That's awesome.
Yep.
So this seems like it could be really, really good in a token deck. It could fit in with the Abzan token theme, or also in like an aggressive style deck. I mean, it works really good with like Mardu because you're able to 3 mana make them and then attack with your team and then flip them. And he also gives himself the +2/+2 when he gets flipped. So it seems like it's kind of a late game finisher. Kind of did I'll see any standard play, but we'll see.
And look, it's Aang, the last of the Pearl Benders.
Yeah.
This card is going nowhere fast. Bulk rare. Yes, it is. All right.
Wingmate Rock. Costs 3 colorless and 2 white for a 3/4 mythic rare creature, bird. Ability text, flying, raid. When Wingmate Rock enters the battlefield, if you attacked with a creature this turn, put a 3/4 white bird creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Whenever Wingmate Rock attacks, you gain 1 life for each attacking creature.
All right, so this is our first taste of the Mardu clan so far, using the raid mechanic, which is super sweet. But overall, this guy, from a flavor perspective, just kind of strikes me as a big bird. Though from a techie perspective, I like copying things. So, yeah. I mean, Wingmate Rock, pretty
So-
sweet.
The token that comes in with this guy appears to be a copy token of this guy, but he's not. The token is just a 3/4 with flying. He does not have any of the added text of whenever Wingmate Rock attacks, you gain 1 life for each attacking creature. Only one of them have that, so you're only going to get that extra ability once.
May not be too great in standard, putting 6 power on the board for 5 mana seems really
With
effective.
evasion.
With the evasion. But I mean, just 5 mana for 3/4 is kind of a lot. And with the Stormbreath Dragon right now, he kind of just gets eaten alive by the Stormbreath Dragon. But it could be a really good finisher. Also, gaining yourself some life for just attacking and smashing seems really good. So we'll see where this guy goes.
And he started at $5, and he's risen to 8. I'm not really sold on him, or should say I'm not buying. If you aren't able to activate, because if you're not able to activate the raid mechanic, it's pretty poor. Look at Broodmate Dragon. Very similar ability on that one.
Yeah, but Broodmate Dragon actually seen heavy play in a standard.
But it wasn't conditional.
It was not conditional, but this is a less than conditional ability with also the gain life clause tacked in.
Right. So I don't know if that's enough. Anyway, that explains why it's at the $5, but I think that it's probably... I think it's going to...
If you flickered it, I mean, you had some way of flickering it maybe, because then you could keep
Maybe.
making guys per turn. But yeah, I agree with you, James.
Okay.
Clever Impersonator. Costs 2 colorless and 2 blue for a 0/0 mythic rare creature, shapeshifter. Ability text, you may have Clever Impersonator enter the battlefield as a copy of any non-land permanent on the battlefield.
Get your foils while they're hot, kids. All right, so for the Tamir, the shaman performs a ritual called the Thaw, in which the shaman strips off his or her heavy clothing, and then the only thing they leave on is their hat, and then they get really hot and they emanate heat, and they sink down into the ice and form like an ice bubble around them, and they meditate and think on the frozen ancient spirits and things like that, and then when they're ready, they come back up out of the ice, and out of the ice with them comes like an icy double of themselves that they can command to do things or like take vengeance on people. And it's like just this really cool, like flavorful mechanic that I'm hoping that we'll continue to see through the rest of the set, because the idea of like making an ice double of yourself is just super awesome. And like, just in the meantime, I want to ice double people's planeswalkers and stuff. Batter skulls. I want to ice double people's batter skulls so bad.
Yes.
Anyways, that's all.
So this can clone enchantments, artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers. Keep in mind that when it clones something, it is a complete clone of the card, including converted mana cost. It does not clone counters, though.
Wait, did I read that right? Copy any non-land permanent. I can have all the Elvish Mystics I want.
Yeah, buddy.
No, or I guess Planeswalkers too. I guess that's cool. This card though, I think it's got Jeskai flavor with it, but I think it fits really well in Sultai. I mean, can you guys imagine just like whipping it out, or like reanimating it and copying a Planeswalker? I mean, because you usually
that is not a
reanimate
creature that goes away!
creatures. So these are
my
creatures
gosh.
in your bin. You can reanimate whatever. It seems really, really good in any like dredge style deck that wants to do that, or any just blue deck that wants to copy things. Seems really good. I'm excited to see this guy.
8 copies of Master of Waves.
Starting price on this was $15. It's sold out on SCG. There's lots of talk about this being good in standard, modern, and EDH.
EDH.
Yeah. So I think that this is going to be an all-star. This is, you notice the white, really there wasn't a lot of stuff in white. This is already making blue look pretty good.
But just saying, reanimating. Don't copy my idea. Get it?
Got it.
Ice copy.
Dig Through Time. Costs 6 colorless and 2 blue for a rare instant. Ability text, Delve. Each card you exile from your graveyard while casting this spell pays for 1. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order.
Alrighty. So, I am super excited for this card. It's also our first little touch of the Sultai. Delve is not particularly flavorful of a mechanic, but very, very cool mechanically. It enables you to do some really neat stuff. Also, just lots of cool flavor. People are just, it looks like all the clans are just looking for where the dragons could be and how to bring them back and stuff. So, it's a
That
neat
is
art.
true. Yeah, the
I like
art
it.
is pretty awesome.
Yep. Delve, you can only exile for colorless mana, so you cannot do, unlike Convoke, you cannot tap for the colored mana into it, so the least you can make this be is 2 blue. Also, when you due to looking at a small designated card pool with this one, you do not need to reveal the cards that you choose. They just go straight into your hand, and the rest go into the yard.
So
Or on bottom of the library, excuse me.
yeah, and with Delve, make sure to be careful. Delve is a great mechanic, you know what I mean, if you don't care about your graveyard, but remember that if you're running a lot of Delve spells, you don't want to exhaust your graveyard too quickly, and the fetch line should help kind of fill up your graveyard for Delve. I doubt this will see any play in like any dredge style deck, but in a combo or in a control deck that doesn't care about their graveyard, this seems like a really good card. I mean, you just dredge out like all your counter spells and your wrath effects. I mean, delve them out, and then just play 2 blue to go find your answers. Seems really, really good. I can even see this possibly seeing play maybe in like modern.
Cantrip heavy style decks.
Possibly even Legacy. That's high speculation, but we'll see.
Started at $2 on SCG. It's now at $3. Elsewhere online, it's fetching $2, a good solid $2, which to me is a sign that there's actually some buying out there. Some of the sources I look at, a lot of times they really try to undersell Star City games. If it's half the price of Star City games, I don't see it's kind of hard to know. But when they approach actually Star City's price, I see that I feel like there's a lot of push on the card. So I think that this one actually has a little bit of upward momentum.
I absolutely agree. Coming from a format with Sphinx's Revelation, this is going to be what people go to to replace it, because with Revelation you drew a lot of garbage with a lot of other good spells. This one you get a C7 and you grab the 2 best ones that are going to help you for that little bit.
Agreed.
And it's instant speed.
Yeah,
Just
And it's
saying.
instant
it's
speed.
awesome. Yeah.
Icy Blast. Cost X and 1 blue for a rare instant. Ability text, tap X target creatures. Ferocious. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step.
Fantastic! We have a ferocious foil for all frightful fiends! But seriously, you don't mess with Inuit-style ice benders. Like, they got the lockdown on the ice spells.
So here Ferocious is going to check as on the resolution of the spell. It does not matter if you have a 4/4 creature when you cast a spell, only when it resolves.
Are pesky blockers causing you problems? Just wanting to swing your Savage Army unhindered? Then Icy Blast is for you. Can't really say much more than that. It won't see play.
Yeah. Started at 50 cents on SCG. Bulk rare. It's just a gridlock if you can't activate Ferocious. If you can, then it's a Frost Breath. Those slightly better, maybe.
Waterbenders, just
So.
saying.
Copyrights, just saying.
I mean, bending waters.
Bending Waters.
Karu Spell Snatcher. Costs 3 colorless and 1 blue for a 3/3 rare creature, Naga Wizard. Ability text, morph 4 colorless and 2 blue. When Karu Spell Snatcher is turned face up, counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. You may cast that spell without paying its mana cost as long as it remains exiled.
The Naga are the ruling class of the Sultai, specializing in devious body-modifying magic via shape-shifting or through other means. Very ruthless. To unmorph, stop the spell that your opponent's playing, and then play it for your own. Very Sultai in flavor, super rude, and pretty awesome.
So with this, you can cast the card even if the Spell Snatcher is dead, since delayed static trigger ability has been applied to the exiled card. Also, with Morph, when you unmorph a creature, your opponent does not respond to it. It does not use the stat.
Happens.
It just sort of happens. Also, but you do get a chance to respond to the ability of
The
that is
triggered effect, right?
triggered onto the unmorphing of the creature.
For sure. It's a kind of a spelljack or a desertion on a shtick. Great in EDH and limited play. 6 mana is just too much for standard, though, and you only get a 3/3 body out of the deal. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that great, but really, really good for EDH for those of you playing blue.
Yeah. Started at $1 on Star City Games, and it slid to 50 cents, bulk rare. This is super cool card, though. Probably you'll only see play in casual decks. The casting cost is just too much. The casting cost of this is the same as Spelljack, but you do get the 3/3, like you mentioned. Did Spelljack get play?
Just casually, I
wasn't
think.
playing
Yeah.
during that time frame.
So I imagine it'll be very similar.
It's really rude in EDH, though. That's all I know. I hate it.
And the prettiest darn snake lady art that I've seen. She's just really
Her
cool.
foil would
looking.
be really cool.
Yeah.
Pearl Lake Ancient. Costs 5 colorless and 2 blue for a 6/7 mythic rare creature, Leviathan. Ability text, Flash. Pearl Lake Ancient can't be countered. Prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Return 3 lands you control to their owner's hand. Return Pearl Lake Ancient to its owner's hand.
Well, hello, Grandfather Leviathan. This is one of the great, cool prowess Jeskai cards that we've seen. Blue needs big finishers from time to time. We usually get Sea Serpents and things like that, but I think this guy will do nicely to fill that role. And yeah, I don't know, nothing super flavorful. He looks cool. He looks like an old man. I like him.
Yep. All abilities here are self-explanatory and can be all used at instant speed, along with him flashing in.
Not too overwhelmed by this card, but he does work with Whelming Wave. So, Flash can't be countered. Seems like the next runner-up for the new Aetherling, possibly for the blue finisher in the control decks. Or if you're playing like a Timur type build, this guy seems like a really, really good sideboard option against those decks. Potential to see play, we'll have to see how the next meta shapes up.
Yep.
Can you imagine if the lands you were returning were like temples, so you could get more scry triggers? Just saying.
Fair enough.
This is what a bulk Mythic Rare looks like. So take a look. Yeah, it's a control finisher. Yeah, it works with Whelming Wave, but I don't see any demand for it. So
But it's old Grandpa Serpent.
it is.
Ye
And
old grandfather
He does kind of
Leviathan.
remind me of a character from the Muppets. Kind of looks like a Muppet Leviathan to me.
1,000 Winds. Cost 4 colorless and 2 blue for a 5/6 rare creature, elemental. Ability text, Flying, Morph. 5 colorless and 2 blue.
Sneaky Jeskai windbags who summon elementals to fight for them. Blades.
So, not all creatures, but tapped creatures. So you may want to avoid unmorphing this while attacking.
Man, those airbenders. I mean, benders of air. Only hits tapped creatures. For 7 mana, that feels really bad. At least you get a 5/6 flyer out of the deal. But limited bomb. Totally limited bomb, so.
Limited Bomb is another way of saying bulk rare, if you haven't noticed. My favorite comment on this one so far is new creature type, elemental fart. Just saying.
Just saying.
Jeskai said?
Yeah.
Too far of a read.
Blood-Soaked Champion. Cost 1 black for a 2/1 rare creature, human warrior. Ability text, Blood-Soaked Champion can't block. Raid. Cost 1 colorless and 1 black. Return Blood-Soaked Champion from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate this ability only if you attacked with a creature this turn.
Oh no, he's dead! Just kidding.
I ain't dead yet.
This champion can't die. He's worse than an Expendables movie. He's awesome.
So into raid, you must be sure to attack with a creature to activate. Getting triggers that put creatures onto the battlefield attacking will fail to activate raid. It has to actually be untapped, and then you have to physically attack with it.
You have to declare it, right?
Declare it.
I
yes.
ain't dead yet. I feel like I go for a walk.
I feel happy.
I am so excited to play this guy. I play lots of Dredge, if you guys haven't heard me, babble on about it forever already. And this guy seems really, really good because you just can throw him in your graveyard, attack with a guy, pay 2 mana, get 1 back, pay another 2 mana, get another 1 back, and just kind of reflood your board. And he's a 2/1 from 1 black, so he's even good in the aggressive decks as well. I think he'll see play. I think he's great. I'm excited.
He started off at $2, and he's gone up to $5 on Star City Games. Elsewhere, he's very similarly priced. He's a Bloodghast or a Gravecrawler knockoff. Maybe not as good as Gravecrawler, but still really good.
Grim Haruspex. Costs 2 colorless and 1 black
Sorry.
for a 3/2 rare creature human wizard. Ability text, morph, 1 black. Whenever another non-token creature
Let
you
me just
control
see here.
dies, draw a card.
Let me go back and do that again.
Yeah?
Yeah, here we go.
We're going to go back to the other card?
Yeah, we're going to go back.
Okay.
Empty the Pits. Cost X, X, and 4 black. For a mythic rare instant. Ability text, delve. Each card you exile from your graveyard while casting this spell pays for 1. Put X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield tapped.
B, 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 B. So many black manas. It's so flavorful, though, to use Delve to recycle your graveyard to pay for spells that you're making zombies with from your graveyard that you just used to make zombies. And then they also enter the battlefield tapped, and then your turn starts, and they're like, I will fight for you. And they'll untap, and then they start walking around and munching on people. And it's an instant, so you get like the flavor of the untap without like losing out on the fact that they can attack and have like semi haste, but they can't like surprise block people. So that's cool. But anyways, like just all of this card seems like I'm a necromancer and you're gonna die. I like it.
So they actually say, "Rar, we're gonna attack for you."
Yeah, no. Just read
That's
the
one
flavor
thing.
text more closely. Just
Underneath Damon Scratch on
Yeah.
every card,
Yeah.
rar, we
Yeah.
attack for you.
Okay. So X in the mana cost must be the same for both instances of X. They cannot be separate. For instance, they both either have to be 1s or 2s. They cannot be
a 5
different
and
in
a
any
6
way.
or
2.5 zombies with just like the upper body on one of them.
Yep.
So I kind of feel like Michonne and Daryl are going to make quick work of these guys. But everyone is really, really excited for this card. And quite frankly, I'm not. Everybody's like, this is going to be a finisher for, like Esper decks and stuff. And I just think that 4 black and XX is kind of just too high. We'll see what
But
happens.
Rich, we have Urborg.
I mean, we had Army of Darkness and Army of Darkness. Or, sorry, Army of the Damned.
Yeah.
Army of the Damned. And Army of the Damned didn't even see play. And that was almost a better card than this. I know it's not instant speed, but...
Start at $5, and they're sticking to their guns. Predicting this one will be a control finisher. Urborg might make this a thing. The field is split on this one, however. Elsewhere, it's sold off to about $2. So I do see a lot of division on this one as far as opinions go. All right, now we'll go to this one.
Grim Haruspex. Costs 2 colorless and 1 black for a 3/2 rare creature human wizard. Ability text, morph, 1 black. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, draw a card.
So this seems like just a techie cool card that you could like get value from your guys dying and that it's just like a mechanical thing, right? However, if you look up the definition of the word Haruspex, you'll find that this was a religious person in ancient Roman times who would sacrifice creatures, like animals and things that people, but like maybe your own guys,
Augur, right?
and they would rip them open and spill out their entrails and like read people's futures from it. So like you're drawing your cards by gaining knowledge, and they're like gaining knowledge from creatures. It's very cool. I like him.
So the keywords on this guy is whenever another non-token creature you control dies, draw a card. So watch your triggers. This one may be easily missed.
Yeah. Also a must ability too. It seems really good in an aggressive style build. I mean, it's a 3/2 body, which is pretty decent for 3 mana. On top of being able to fill back up your hand, it's definitely good in sideboard against the control decks. Also, just even like as a 1 or 2 of, I mean, it allows you to kind of keep swinging, especially with the Blood-Soaked Champion to draw cards. It's freaking awesome. I'm excited. It's probably won't see any competitive play, but I'm wishing.
Yeah, and it's hovering above, just about at $1, which is just above bulk levels. So there's a little bit of demand for it, not a ton.
Necropolis Fiend cost 7 colorless and 2 black for a 4/5 rare creature demon. Ability text: Delve, flying. Pay X, tap, exile X cards from your graveyard. Target creature gets -X until end of turn.
Hey, Polly, you got the part. You're the giant obligatory demon with removal built in that has an interesting tension between Delve and your activated ability, and you're kind of awkward.
Seems like a better reanimate target.
So anyways, Necropolis Fiend, big demon in this world. That's pretty cool. That's really all I got.
Yep. X will always be 0 until specified otherwise.
I can give a guy -0/-0. Yes! Achievement unlocked. 9
Phantasmal
mana.
Image.
Yeah, actually that's very relevant. 9 mana for a 4/5 seems really, really bad. And again, going back to our previous conversation about Delve and not wanting to exhaust your graveyard too quickly, I believe this is one of the promos for the intro packs, but I'm not sure. The artwork is awesome. I just wish the card was just a little bit better.
Started $1, and it's really been written off right down to bulk rare. But just keep in mind, this is not much different than Tombstalker.
Boy, he was a force to be reckoned.
Retribution of the Ancient costs 1 black for a rare enchantment. Pay black, remove X/1/1 counters from among creatures you control. Target creature gets -X until end of turn.
So Abzan is all like, we are family, and sometimes we take advantage of our strength and kill people with it. Makes Outlast, your guys are getting bigger from +1/+1 counters, and then takes full advantage of Outlast to make sure that your other creatures are not the ones who are out first.
So not
Crickets.
Out last, out first.
Right.
Okay.
So not all counters need to be from the same creature. You can grab from multiple to kill one bigger enemy.
Yeah, it's really cool that the fact that you can take them from multiple creatures, right? So you can take 2 from this guy, 1 from that guy, 3 from this guy, whatever. Seems really good. And then you just kill something. I feel like this is definitely going to be like a Constellation type themed thing with Mardu, potentially. Or not Mardu, sorry, with Abzan. Doubt it will see any limited play, but could be a really good bomb in limited if you are playing the Abzan clan.
It's a bulk rare, but could be interesting with Ajani, Mentor of Heroes.
And the Kin Tree story, the flavor. Oh,
Yeah. Sorry. Let's see.
What do you think of?
Ashcloud Phoenix costs 2 colorless and 2 red for a 4/1 mythic rare creature, Phoenix. Ability text: flying. When Ashcloud Phoenix dies, return it to the battlefield face down. Morph, 4 colorless, 2 red. When Ashcloud Phoenix is turned face up, it deals 2 damage to each player.
So one time in a design meeting, they're like, hey, we want a Phoenix and we want a Morph card. And they're like, hey, what if like Phoenixes who normally come back from the graveyard, they just like hermit up in like a little Morph shell and then they blossom back up again. But there's still a guy you can attack with. Like this card, the value may be, probably not. But really cool design. I really like it a lot. It's a neat different space that Morph hasn't explored yet. So I like that.
Right. So this guy comes right back after every time he dies. But so long as he is still in his morph state, when you kill him, he will not come back.
So did he actually hit the graveyard, though?
That's garbage.
Does he hit the graveyard?
Are you disagreeing, or are you just saying it's stupid?
I just wish he just kept coming back as an
Yeah.
infinite morph.
Yes, he hits the graveyard.
And then it gets
Whenever he
morphed.
dies, Yes.
Gotcha.
So he has to hit the graveyard.
Damn Phoenixes just never go away. Now you at least have something to spend your excess mana on if you're playing red, to make him from a 2/2 to a 4/1. I don't know. I feel like Flamewraith Phoenix is a little bit better than this guy, but I mean, if in a deck that wants to kind of keep going, this could definitely be a finisher in red. But we have Stormwrath Dragon right now, so maybe next season?
Maybe. Start at $4 on Star City Games, now at $3, going for $2 elsewhere, which means he's half the price of what Star City predicted it was going to be at. Bulk rare Mythic, pretty much. Fun casual card as far as that goes, but and just like all good Phoenixes, they keep coming back like bad pennies. Ha. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're just asking, or we're just ashing all the wrong questions that on how to get
Whoa, the reach. Wow.
Crater's Claw. Cost X in red for a rare sorcery. Ability text. Crater's Claw deals X damage to target creature or player. Ferocious. Crater's Claw deals X plus 2 damage to that creature or player instead if you control a creature with power 4 or greater.
You know what I wish fireballs were? I wish fireballs were a little bit more ferocious. And then they made this card. It was super cool. Fireball classic red spell. I'm taking fire and shooting it out of my hand at your face. And if I have big guys on my side, it's very big.
I guess claws help you with your reach.
I guess so. Just a couple inches or so. It's very nice.
2 damage points worth.
Well played, sir. Passing.
Yes. It pretty much just a fireball, and then plus 2 damage. It doesn't double the damage when you have a creature of power 4 or greater. Just another thing to harp on. If you kill their only creature of power 4 or greater in response to this, it's not going to get the added bonus.
Should have been double, but I guess for 1 red, it does 2 damage. It's a shock. Food for thought?
Yeah.
Really terrible.
Are you kidding me? This is the most undervalued card, I think.
From the red mage.
The regular burn cost is in line. I mean, yeah, it's expensive, but it's, 2 damage for 3 damage for 4. It's kind of in line with what a lot of burn spells are. It can go to players or creatures, which is one of the tests for a good burn spell. And it started at $2 on Star City Games. It went to $150. Look, I put this with Dragon Style Twins, which we're going to be talking about next. I've already pre-ordered. I pre-ordered my playset of this. I promise. This is going in my red burn deck. This is going to
Sweet.
be
I can dig it.
awesome.
I'm glad you defended it.
Yeah.
I'm still working on a comeback for Blaze's Phoenix joke.
Okay, you do that.
Comeback.
Dragon Style Twins. Cost 3 colorless and 2 red for a 3/3 rare creature human monk. Ability text. Double strike. Prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
And now for a lesson on the Jeskai. They believe in 5 fires. Soulfire, white magic. Mistfire, blue magic. Deathfire, black magic. Bloodfire, red magic. And Vital Fire, green magic. Black death magic is so bad. And Vital Fire, you cannot control it. It just does what it wants. It grows how it wants to. So that's why the Jeskai only practice in their 3 fires that they have some control over, which is really neat. So to the Jeskai, the Bloodfire is the most important of the elemental fires, and they believe that during combat you can just lose your mind and go all in and gain like this superhuman state. And so these guys are, I think, classic examples of some of these Bloodfire warriors.
So double strike deals both first strike and normal damage. With the prowess, good enough to sneak through a lot of random damage.
Twins, Basil, twins. I don't know, 3/3 double strike's great. For 5 mana, it seems really steep. But if you're using some of those burn spells to get away some blockers, you could be swinging for some lots of damage really quickly. Needs just a little bit of evasion. Iroas, anyone?
And this is a bulk rare, but just think about this with the previous card. I just want to draw your attention. Once this activates, it goes to a 4/4.
4 power, boom.
And then it will go to, if it's power 4 or greater, then you get the extra 2 points on that one.
Boom.
They activate each other.
Boom.
Look at me. In his
Boom.
dual thinking.
Ha! Just saying. I might have to try this.
More reaching of jokes.
Yeah, lots of reach.
Howl of the Horde. Costs 2 colorless and 1 red for a rare sorcery. Ability text. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Raid. If you attack with a creature this turn, when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell an additional time. You may choose new targets for the copy.
So the Mardu have these things called war shrieks, where a warrior just gets really emotional and he screams, and it's its own kind of magic, and they use it to strike fear in the hearts of their foes and enhance their strength and skills, and they lash out with shockwaves of sonic power, and this guy is screaming lightning out of his throat. I bet it sounds like he's been smoking since he was 3. When he talks.
Or played
like-
way too much Elder
Hardcore music?
Scrolls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Skyrim.
that's pretty
yes.
metal screamo
It's
music.
so
right there.
metal. Like, honestly, if you guys are in a metal band, I feel like you have a new like theme card. Anyways, that's all.
Absolutely. Be sure to cast this spell before your big spell. Casting it after will do nothing.
So picture this in a Jeskai deck with the effect like Time Warp. Anyone? Seems really good, and it works with the legendary gal that we'll get to later. I can't remember her name right now. But even if you do like a kill spell, like you play this and then play another kill spell, I mean, copying it, a bunch of times seems really good. So, and with your claws of terribleness, you can copy it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. 12 direct damage on turn 5 with this in claws. $1 card on Star City Games right now.
It does seem like a Johnny's
Yeah.
springboard, right? Or
Yeah.
Spike's springboard
like,
for
you know-
lots of home brews and fun stuff.
Stoke the flames, though, man. That's like a thing where you just tap your guys and
Just
deal
pay
4
the
damage.
3 and then tap your guys.
Yeah, that's a thing. Just that's all.
Jeering Instigator. Costs 1 colorless and 1 red for a 2/1 rare creature, Goblin Rogue. Ability text, Morph. 2 colorless and 1 red. When Jeering Instigator is turned face up, if it's your turn, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it. It gains haste until end of turn.
So this goblin be like, "Look, pal, it's real simple. Just punch your Sultai friends in the face one time, just one time, and I'll give you back your hat. Deal?" That's all I have.
He himself does not have haste, so be sure to cast and unmorph on different turns to get the full effect.
I'm not going to instigate. This is kind of a bad card, but an act of treason on a stick. This could be really, really good, though.
Yeah, it's going for $1 on Star City Games. Seems really for the effect. It seems really good. I think that it really has some room to go here. So maybe it's being underappreciated.
We'll see.
Sarkon the Dragon Speaker. Costs 3 colorless and 2 red for a 4 loyalty mythic rare planeswalker, Sarkon. +1 ability. Until end of turn, Sarkon the Dragon Speaker becomes a legendary 4/4 red dragon creature with flying, indestructible, and haste. He doesn't lose loyalty while he's not a planeswalker. -3 ability, Sarkon the Dragon Speaker deals 4 damage to target creature. -6 ability, you gain an emblem with, at the beginning of your draw step, draw 2 additional cards, and at the beginning of your end step, discard your hand.
Oh my God! It's Sarkon, the guy from the cover of the product. Sarkon, he's super cool. He's from Tarkir. He's a gifted warrior of the Mardu clan. We find out that like he was in this cool battle and he hears this crazy dragon voice and he's like, "I will speak this spell from a dragon that's invaded my mind." Sure. Boom! Dragon shoots out of his chest, like shoots fire down on all the enemies and most of his own guys. And he was like so enamored with this dragon who just kills everybody. He's like, that hits me right in the feels, bro. And when that happens, his planeswalker spark arises and boom, he planeswalks out of there. He is the dragon lover. He is the poster boy. Sarkon has arrived.
Cool story, bro.
Yes. So keep in mind that the loyalty costs go up or down without your opponent getting priority, since they're part of the cost. However, the ability itself still uses the stack, so you still have a chance to burn him out before he becomes the indestructible dragon. Also, his -6, you get an emblem with at the beginning of your draw step. You draw a total of 3 cards with his emblem, and then your draw step to gain full value off of.
So for those of you guys that are flavor nuts, do you guys notice the little hedron on his staff? Anyone? It's probably what's keeping him kind of sane, right? This crazy guy even turns into a dragon. I mean, oh, the flavor. This is the first time, other than Gideon, that we've had a Planeswalker be able to turn into a creature. His +1 ability is great. I mean, indestructible flying, blah, dragon, awesome. His -3 leaves a little room for lacking. The big thing, though, is his ultimate, his -6 ability, which is, draw 2 cards during the beginning of your upkeep, and then, so basically you're drawing 3 cards a turn, and everybody's like, oh, we have to discard the cards. Well, typically in a red deck, you don't care about your hand as much as long as it's going at your opponent's face and dealing tons of damage or throwing creatures on the battlefield. So this guy basically kind of just gives you the edge of being able to go late game in a red burn deck. And other than that, he just seems really, really sweet. And he should give you the edge to be able to beat out your opponents.
He's going for 25 right now on Star City Games. I see my red deck coming together, guys. I really do. Yep. And here we go.
Hardened Scales. Costs 1 green for a rare enchantment. Ability text. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be placed on a creature you control, that many +1/+1/+1 counters are placed on it instead.
So fun fact, this cool sign that they're doing with their hands, it's not really hands, they're making the sign of the dragon scale. And that is the symbol of endurance for the Abzan clan. But also if you're at your pre-release and you're just like, Abzan sign.
It's the same thing Daft Punk does.
Mardu
Just
sign. I'm just saying, all like check this out. Ready? You do 3. Your not pointer finger right gets folded down and your thumb points back, and this is like the Mardu swipey sign. I don't know. This is the hardest one to make.
The Timur.
Sultai claw. Anyways,
It's a hook.
I'm just saying you can make all of the signs with your hand for your clan. I'm not suggesting that we
Thug
make
life.
gang signs. This is a thing that could get blown out of proportion. I'm just saying you could identify yourself. Just saying.
So, Blaze, got anything that doesn't advocate getting shot?
Not one that's good for the podcast. So, if 1 or more counters would be put on it, the keyword there is 1 or more. So it's pretty much just a doubling season for your counters for 1 green. So your guy gets 2 counters, he gets 2 more.
Go, Rich.
All right.
Yep.
Pairs really well with a wide range of decks, specifically really good with Outlast. Great in token decks that want to put +1/+1 counters on your team, but really, really good with Simic and Golgari, or even +1/+1 counter decks. EDH, anybody? It seems really good, especially as a 1 green.
Sorry, I'm not on my screen.
You're not on your
Me and Damon
game
are just
either.
Started off at $1 on SCG. It's going for $1.50 now. A 1/1 counter for green is not bad. Several 1/1 counters over the course of the game is nothing to scoff at, especially when you have a set where 1/1 counters have multiple purposes.
No scoffers. Gotta come proper.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I think that's a cool card, actually.
Hooded Hydra. Cost X and 2 green for a 0/0 mythic rare creature, Snake Hydra. Ability text. Hooded Hydra enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. When Hooded Hydra dies, put a 1/1 green snake creature token onto the battlefield for each +1/+1 counter on it. Morph. 3 colorless and 2 green. As Hooded Hydra is turned face up, put 5 +1/+1 counters on it.
So it's nice to see that they've shown a hooded Hydra, because some Hydras are hooded and others aren't. Anyways, it's really cool that he's just your big classic angry green creature. Hydras have become sort of the dragons of green. I feel like we need one now kind of in every set, and he's pretty awesome. I like him.
Yeah. So when he is morphed face down with counters on him, when he dies, he does not put into play the 1/1 green snake creatures. But if he's morphed face down with counters already on him, and then you unmorph him, he still gets the 5 more added counters onto him to give him that extra pump.
So early game, paying the 3 mana to morph him and the 5 mana to unmorph him seems really good and beneficial. But later in the game, obviously, you just might want to pump into X and make him really, really big and really angry. Works really, really well with the card we just talked about, Hardened Scales. I mean, putting double the counters on him just seems great. But also, anybody Perforos? Just saying, make some big, huge guys and tons of little snakes and kill your opponent with Perforos. Just,
He's getting a little love. $3 on Star City Games. He's not a cheapie. I mean, I guess as far as mythic rares go, he's on the lower side. But he's not. He's definitely not on the bulk rare bandwagon, or bulk mythic bandwagon, shall we say? All right, and
Meandering Tower Shell. Costs 3 colorless and 2 green for a 5/9 rare creature turtle. Ability text, Island Walk. This creature can't be blocked as long as defending player controls an island. Whenever Meandering Tower Shell attacks, exile it. Return it to the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking at the beginning of the declare attacker step on your next turn.
This card is so confusing to me. So he's a turtle, right? And like Flash is like sort of teleport in Magic World, or like moving very fast. And he is like a giant turtle. So he flashes out when he tries to attack. He like trips into the Aether. And then like it's been a turn and you're like, man, I really wish I had a giant defender hanging out with me. And it's like, don't worry, I'm coming back. And he just jumps in there and attacks. And you still have no turtle to defend you. He's just like, no, dude, it's cool. I island walk. And I'm a turtle. And I teleport. Like, this guy is so confusing from a design flavor perspective. I don't know what to do with him. I mean,
it's
I'm
him
excited
going
by
back
him.
in his shell, man.
Yeah, well, I've always thought of him going deep under the water.
Or that.
And then he comes back up. When
Okay.
He has Island Walk.
He goes under the water, and then he's like,
going
all
under the
slow
water and
about
then
it.
popping up and punching you in the face and then swimming back. Okay, it makes more sense.
He's
To
playing,
me, man,
he's playing fetch.
this guy was, and I feel like I'm kind of a flavor guru. This guy was lost on me. Sorry, I took too long. You guys go.
So he triggers raid when he attacks, then he phases out.
And then never triggers it again.
Then he phases back, and then he's currently attacking, so he doesn't actually trigger raid. And then he hits your opponent in the face, apparently, and then he meanders back to your side of the battlefield.
He's just
tapped.
Slow and steady wins the race, right?
No, he's not winning this race, sir.
He is the ultimate turtle.
Turtle.
Get it?
He is.
So bear with me. This guy is actually freaking awesome. Flavorfully, he's really good, except for Damon can't understand it. That's fine. In a rug shell, he's really good with the Timur Ascendancy, because when he comes back into play, you get a draw card. He's really good in the black, blue, green Sultai shell, because if you whip him back out, he exiles himself and comes back into play attacking, so that he stays out. And with the new Lich Lord guy that also exiles stuff during your upkeep to reanimate, he'll stay on the battlefield with that as well. And he's a 5/9. Like, he never dies. He has Island Walk. He's going to go unblockable against a wide variety of different decks. I'm excited for this guy for a reanimating aspect. I think he's awesome.
He started at $1, and he's gone down to 50 cents. So, from a financial standpoint, he's nothing. He's not very big. All right.
Rattleclaw Mystic. Costs 1 colorless and 1 green for a 2/1 rare creature, human shaman. Ability text, tap. Add 1 green, 1 blue, or 1 red to your mana pool. Morph 2 colorless. When Rattleclaw Mystic is turned face up, add 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 red to your mana pool.
Temur Whisperers are also sometimes known as Weavers of the Three Destinies, referring to the past, the present, which they call the now, and the future, called the unwritten now. Their eyes are never visible, symbolically reinforcing the idea that they whisper and listen to the ancestors and the elemental spirits, and see all times at once.
So when you unmorph, you get the mana ramp off the 3 colors, plus whichever color you still want him to tap for, assuming that he does not have the summoning sickness. So he effectively can ramp you up 2 extra colors.
So he's a pseudo ritual or like a burning tree emissary kind of deal, and he's kind of a Sylvan Caryatid because he can tap for 3 mana. But the cool thing is he can attack too, so it means that he's a bear, but he's also mana fixing. He's kind of everything Timur wants to do, so I think he'll see play for sure. Yeah. And he's the buy a box promo. Oh, sorry, did I steal that from you?
Well, only about half my stuff do you steal from me. No, just kidding. I got nothing. No, just kidding.
No, I'm sorry.
He's the buy a box promo. Remember the last buy a box promo? Goblin Rabble Rouser? He's doing pretty good right now.
Rabble Browser?
Rabble Browser. Rabble Master. That's the one. Rabble Rouser. Rabble Rouser, you kids. I would have won. I would have gotten away with it too. Start at $5 on Star City Games. Going elsewhere too. He's also going for $5 on other places on the web, on the internets. So I think this is one to pick up.
Okay, James, that last joke was Scooby-Doo-Doo.
I'll give you a Scooby sack.
Okay, we're in green now. That joke had a lot of reach.
I just want to whip my turtle out. That's all I want to do.
See the Unwritten. Costs 4 colorless and 2 green for a mythic rare sorcery. Ability text. Reveal the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest into your graveyard. Ferocious. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you may put 2 creature cards onto the battlefield instead of 1.
So Timur Shamans can see a possible now that there's like a weakness in the dimensions where there's this other now that's kind of happening alongside the current now, where there's like dragons and stuff, and they want to take someone powerful enough to this fuzzy spot in reality and like have them sort of fix time. Like this unknown thingy, we have no idea what you're talking about, was in the flavor article. These guys are seeing it. They're wanting to make dragons come back. Dragons in the 3rd set. It's happening, which will be super cool. Anyways.
So this is not casting said creature you choose, so it won't trigger things like Cascade or such. So the creature cannot be countered. This spell can still be countered, however, but it still enters the battlefield abilities.
Really good when running a bunch of morph. That's not the right one.
Yep.
Wow. Anyway, so this is kind of like Summoning Trap, basically. But I mean, like you also get to get more guys.
Or like Tooth and Nail, kind
of. Or Tooth and Nail. It's a really good way of getting out like Emrakul or Worldspine Worm or Progenitus, whatever. Just get big, huge fatties out without having to pay the high mana cost. Seems really good. Definitely really good for EDH and stuff like that. May potentially see Modern play. Who knows? We'll see.
He started off at $5 on Star City Games. He's still there. Yeah. Let's see.
Trail of Mystery. Costs 1 colorless and 1 green for a rare enchantment. Ability text. Whenever a face-down creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may search your library for a basic land card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, if it's a creature, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn.
Trail of Mystery. Morph as a mechanic, though, is tied flavorfully to the remnants of dragon magic and also anti-dragon magic, where people would use these magics to either disguise how powerful they were or where they were at. And so that's kind of how they're tying that in flavorfully to this set. And there really aren't very many more cards in this set that are screaming as hard as this one is. Build around me! Please play lots of Morph, guys. We'll have so much fun together. So that's what this card is.
So back to Scooby-Doo-Doo. That's all that this card is. But remember that it is only morph creatures and that it is only a basic land and it goes into your hand, not the battlefield.
So this the guys that you just reveal a creature or a colored card from your hand, they flip for free.
The free morph.
And it's also color fixing because you can go grab basics. Unless you're playing like lots of morph guys, I don't see this seeing any play. But the artwork's really cool, and could be really good in actually if you think about it in draft, because you can kind of just grab all the morph guys and get extra value. So other than that, it's not that great.
Volker.
Move it along.